Hey, what's going on, Adventure fam? Welcome back to Adventures Calling Us. This is your place for cruise, news, tips, adventure, tricks, you name it. This is the spot. It is a beautiful Friday here in Glendale, Arizona. I hope everybody is having an amazing week so far, and you are about to close out this week with some fun, potentially in the sun, unless you are in a northern state and you're experiencing a cold spell. But if you're anywhere like us where spring training is in full swing, well, you're going to go outside and enjoy the weather like we will. Now, before we jump into the weekend, I wanted to drop a story that I came across. And look, before we even jump into this story, this is not a political channel. I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on. We all have our own personal beliefs, okay? I don't want to see political comments down below. Now, I will ask you to provide your commentary down below on the actual substance of the video. But please, I'm asking you, do not get crazy in the comments with who is right or wrong in terms of political opponents and things like that. That is not what I'm trying to do here, so I need everybody to do that. But what we are talking about today is Trump, President Trump that is, has come out and said that they are going to start targeting cruise line operators like Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, you name it. They are going to start targeting cruise line operators, and you might wonder why, and it's because he doesn't feel like they are paying enough in taxes. So let's jump into the story, talk about some of the details we know. And look, the details are few and far between, so don't expect to get a whole host of things that are going to be taken. This is one article that I came across that I wanted to relay to you so that you can maybe start following up on it and doing your own research. But let's jump into the information so we can see how this might affect your bottom dollar. All right, so here's the scoop. Recently, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick dropped a bombshell saying that the Trump administration wants to close tax loopholes that let big cruise companies avoid U.S. income taxes. This means that Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and others, despite operating heavily in the U.S., could be paying a lot more in taxes soon. So if you're wondering why they don't already pay an exorbitant amount of taxes, or as some people like to call it, their fair share, it's because they typically register their cruise lines in other countries, right? Countries like Panama, Bermuda, Liberia, places that have softer tax implications when you register your business there. It's no different than like when somebody wants to register something in Montana for an LLC or something like that. There are different benefits to doing so, even though you may not live in Montana. And so even though these cruise lines are headquartered in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, all these different places, and most of their cruises sail from the U.S., and most of their cruise line passengers are American, the tax implications because of where they are registered allows them to essentially, I think, not pay as many taxes as maybe just an American-based company who is running a corporation here. I don't know. I'm not a tax law expert, so don't quote me on that, but that is my understanding of all of this. So now that we've covered that small topic, let's talk about how this might affect you as a cruiser. Lutnick made it clear. This is going to end under Donald Trump, and those taxes are going to be paid. Investors, of course, are not going to take lightly to this, so the stocks for Royal, Carnival, Norwegian, of course, they're going to either immediately drop or they will start to be watched heavily. But what does this actually mean for you, the average cruiser? Cruisers like you, cruisers like us, what does that actually mean? Well, I mean, look, if they've got to pay more in taxes, they're either going to have to take a hit off their bottom line, or you could see things like increased cruise fares. You can see increased onboard costs or activity costs. You can see a lot of freebies or certain freebies going away, right? Let's just hope they don't start charging for pizza. I think if Sorrento started charging for pizza, I think there'd be an uprising. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. But these are realistic things if this takes place. If the cruise lines, right? It's no different if a company has to pay more minimum wage. That cost has to get passed down to somebody, and that usually is the consumer. So while you might want somebody to make $18 an hour to start as a new employee at a McDonald's, right? That hamburger you're now buying is going to cost you maybe $1, $2, $3 more, right? It always ends up at the end consumer. And so the businesses are going to have to navigate this. Now, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, they all make billions and billions of dollars just like the airlines do, right? Are there ways they can maybe mitigate some of this without, costing, the consumer a heavy load? Potentially. We're not even in those talking stages yet that I've seen. And so right now, that is a few ways that it could affect your bottom line, however. Now look, the cruise lines, of course, they are not staying silent on this. They are coming back firing. The CLIA, the Cruise Line International Association, is saying, look, everything we are doing is fair. We think it's a fair trade. We are paying $2.5 billion in taxes a year to the United States, which actually represents 65% of all of our taxes of every place that we go is going back to the United States, even though most of the ports and places that we go are in international waters and in international destinations. So the cruise lines, they are, of course, they are firing back. They do not want this to take place, of course. And, so this is where you're going to get these negotiations start to happen, the back and forth. But the Cruise Line International Association is saying, look, we pay our fair share. That is more than enough. So look, now we got this full-blown showdown starting to happen between the government and the cruise lines. And look, is this going to affect how cruise lines do business so they can avoid some of these taxes if they were to be implemented? Most importantly, are these going to affect our drink package prices? That's the most important thing, right? That's all we want to know is how is our bottom line going to be affected when we book these cruises? But in all seriousness, this is going to set up a negotiation between the government and cruise lines, and we'll have to wait and see to see how this thing shakes out. So look, one thing is for sure, this could potentially change cruising in a major way. So let me know your thoughts down below. Do you believe these cruise lines should pay more in taxes, or do you think this is all just political noise given the times that we are in? Again, I'm going to ask you, do not get super political in the comments. I'm asking you that very nicely. So don't attack each other or anything like that if you're commenting. This has nothing to do with politics in the sense of who you support and who you don't. This is strictly, I want you to comment on the subject matter at hand, which is the taxes for the cruise lines. Look, if you're new here, I appreciate you stopping in. If you are a returning viewer, we love you guys so much. We want everybody to drop a like on this video. Go ahead and subscribe as well. We would love for you to become part of the adventure family. We're going to Disneyland in a week and actually a week. So we want to bring you with us. So make sure you're subscribed to that, and let me know your comments down below. Hope everybody has a fantastic Friday, and we'll see you guys on your next adventure. Peace.